What?
The following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
What's up, dude? Welcome back to Tank Talk. This is Tank speaking into a microphone here out of Emerge Media Creators Co-op. And to my left, I am joined by nobody. To his left, we're nobody. What the hell's going on? We're gonna have to pull Stephen A. Smith and Jim Rome today. It's only me. But of course, we got the one and only Maranto on the ones and twos. How you doing, pal?
Good. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Hell of a week in sports, but real quick, yeah, we're just us today. Brandon's coming in from Nashville. He bought a few cool cowboy hats coming in.
Yeah,
So I don't know if this is gonna be. I don't know if it was just like a Nashville thing or if he's coming back home, Cowboy Bren.
I don't feel you go down to Nashville. You kind of feel like that's what you got to do.
Kind of obligated. He got the whole get up. He got the jean jacket, the jeans, the boots.
There's a lot of shops. There's a lot of stores. You can. It's not hard. It's like a Tim Hortons in Niagara Falls. You can. Every corner there's a place where you can buy a cowboy hat or boots or whatever. You've been to Nashville, right?
I've never been. No.
Nashville is I went last year at this time for spring break last year, and it's even if you don't like even if you're not a big country, Western music type person, it's every bar there's a band and there's every type of music you can think of, and young artists and famous artists, and every bar is cool, and it's just a really cool. I mean where the Predators play is literally that arena is right on their Broadway street, their main street. Yeah. It's like literally right there next to like Kid Rock's bar. Kid Rock's bar you can look at the building. I mean, it's just such a cool. So I'm sure he's gonna have some nice stories from this trip.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to hear him when he comes back. And it's like, I don't know, because the only country I'm like into, I don't even know if you consider him country, but like Johnny Cash and.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
He's obviously very mainstream. There's a Johnny Cash museum down there.
He mentioned he went there, so we'll have
I didn't get to that.
We'll have to wait and see when Brendan gets back, hear about that.
All right.
And then, Buffalo Dill's a busy guy. He's got a kid coming. Hey, Noah could be coming anytime now. Anytime. So, Buffalo Dill, it was nice knowing you. He's going to be considered Noah's dad
bets
now.
on Betstamp on when the kid's coming?
We got to look into the lines.
What's DraftKings got the arrival
We're going to
date?
have to see where Betstamp has the best odds at.
Best odds, good job.
Yeah, we'll have to go and do some deep diving into the sports books and see where when Noel's going to be born. What's the over/under? What's a specific date?
We could bet weight. There's so many things we could be betting on right here.
That's right. So, I mean, if you're interested, head over to our description, click the link, bring you to the different sports books that are eligible in our state, or your state, rather, and we can figure out this thing when Noel's coming to town, or the earth, rather. Brand new life he's bringing in him and Kaylee. So congratulations, that's coming up soon.
Excited for them.
And good luck to Riley today. He had his younger brother plays over at Fredonia. The Blue Devil. That's what they call it, right?
Yep.
Blue Devil.
Yep.
Had a ball game today. Hey, I mean, speaking of which.
And his family business, we might as well do a shout out for the McAnally's Cafe down there. They open up for their summer hours, so now they're open every day 8 to 3. I saw that on social media today.
Get your donuts, get your coffee. I'm a big fan of their the turkey wrap, turkey BLT wrap.
I've only had a donut that's covered in cereal there. That's the only thing I've ever had.
Man,
I only eat the high sugar content items there. So I guess I didn't realize they had sandwiches.
Oh, they have it all. They have
That's
it all.
great.
I mean, you could be standing there looking at the menu for good 10, 15 minutes.
That is for sure. They have a lot of
but
choices.
I'm gonna throw these shades on because the weather's beautiful now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The sun's out, guns blazing. I think the 20-degree weather's in the past. What do you think?
This week sounds like it's gonna be really good, but then someone looked ahead.
Oh, I don't say it.
So I won't say it but it looks like this will be a beautiful week. So
I'm gonna keep these on for the week, and then we'll think about next week. But I'm gonna take them off for now.
All right.
But with that being said, it was a great week in sports. Hold on, we miss you, brother Brennan, Nola's dad. Hopefully we'll get you back next week and hear all your wonderful stories from your Easter weekend and whatnot. So hopefully everyone had a great Easter weekend. The Easter Bunny has risen, but it was a great week in sports. What do we have? Last week we had UConn win the national championship, which shout out us. We had that right.
Yep.
Our last pick of the week or pick of the night. Old John Rombo wins the Masters, which it didn't look like it was going to be a close call there up until the end. Brooks Koepka, whatever his name is from Liv, fell apart.
The only thing I would say is that weather was awful.
Yeah, a few trees went down.
Literally they had to cancel. What was on a Friday? I think they had one of the days they suspended play because there was 2 trees fell down.
I believe, it was for Friday going into Saturday because I remember watching Saturday. Everyone had like their beanies and raincoats on.
And it was just pouring on.
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday, whenever I was watching, I watched it.
Saturday.
Every time it was Saturday because I would turn it on and like my wife's like, no, it's suspended because it was so much rain and stuff. And then
it's crazy.
Tiger got hurt. He was limping around.
That was sad to see, but
yep.
So that happened. Shout out John Rombo for winning the Masters.
Good for him.
Putting his green jacket on.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs are set. NFL draft is looming. Israel Adesanya, the style bender, is back. He's the champion once again. And what are we waiting for? Let's get into the nitty-gritty here. So if you missed it, Odell Beckham Jr. signed with the Baltimore Ravens. The 3-time Pro Bowl wide receiver announced on Sunday on his Instagram that he will be signing with the Baltimore Ravens per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport and Mike Garafolo, and also Tom Pelissero, the Arrow, all reported. So the deal was 1 year, $18 million contract with 15 guaranteed.
Wow.
So people were kind of losing their mind with his request financially. He ended up getting the money he wanted, the money he requested, which was the $15 million guaranteed. But it turns out he had a jet planned. He was about to board the plane over to New Jersey to meet with the Jets.
Really?
That was pretty much set in stone. The contract there was the same duration for 1 year. But I believe, what was the money? It was less than the Ravens. I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I thought I heard Ian Rappaport today mention that it was like a $10 million guarantee with $15 million on the contract. Something like that.
What's your thoughts on that?
So now we're going to wait and see. Like, 'cause obviously you see him go to Baltimore, which he gave the Jets, before he boarded the plane, he gave him the option to match it because he wanted to go to the Jets. But Jets said, you know what, that's a good deal. We can't top that. Go sign with Baltimore. But now that makes me wonder, I mean, not just me, it will make you wonder as well. What's going to happen with the Lamar Jackson situation now?
It's funny because now, when I saw it, the first thing that I said was, well, I guess they're really committed to keeping Lamar there. I'm not saying Lamar is going to stay, but I feel like they said I saw the owner, and I forget the owner's name, but not the owner, the general manager. And the general manager saying, we're committed, and the same thing that they all say. But signing Odell kind of tells me maybe you are committed to you. Maybe you are going to make it happen. So maybe after all this, he's going to stay.
Yeah, Eric DeCostra, the Ravens GM, he declined to answer any questions about Lamar at Wednesday's pre-draft meeting or news conference, but he did have something interesting to say about Baltimore's quarterback position. We kind of alluded to potentially taking a quarterback in the first round.
Interesting.
So they're picking, I believe, 22nd. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here because obviously Odell Beckham, that's a huge signing. That's somebody who they've been messing.
Do you predict someone that would trade up as part of to get Lamar?
Trade up? What do you mean?
If you're Baltimore and you're trying to trade up, because if you're 22nd, you're not getting much of a quarterback at 22nd, right? If you're Baltimore.
So here, I mean, it's another scenario where it makes sense for the Colts because
right.
They're at 4. Not a bad spot to go get a quarterback if you don't fall in love with any of the guys. Has the potential of Will Levis and Anthony Richardson sitting there.
Right.
But I don't know. It did seem like for the past how long has it been, like week and a half or whatever, the relationship kind of was starting to disintegrate. So I have no idea. I'm so lost because now you're pretty much saying you're kind of moving on. You don't want to pay Lamar Jackson, but then you go ahead and sign Odell Beckham, which I guess people go right away to seeing that's $15 million out of their salary cap, but that's a whole nother thing, I guess. So I'm
looking at it from Odell's standpoint, and my question is so he's not going to go somewhere that if he's not convinced they're going to have a quarterback.
That's it.
He's not going to New England. He's not going to whoever wherever Baker ends up. Like, he's not going to one of those teams. He wants to go to somewhere that's got a top 5, top 7 quarterback. So he feels like he's got a shot to get to the Super Bowl, right?
Well,
so does he know something that we don't know?
Okay, so this is why he wanted to make the Jets happen, right? Because obviously they're working on getting Aaron Rodgers over there. So, but that hasn't happened yet. Neither has the Lamar Jackson situation. So you could come up with anything. Like, I'm lost.
I made the joke that, like, who's doing the negotiations with, like, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers, like James Cameron, because it's taking longer than it took for Avatar 2 to come out. Like, it feels like we've been talking about this trade to to the Jets for, like, what are we working on? Why is it take like, sign, go or don't go? Just make I feel like everything is there's so much in flux with Lamar and Aaron Rodgers. Like the rest of the league's like at a standstill. Like, I feel like we're waiting. I mean, now most of it seems like it's going to happen after the draft, but I feel like there's so much it's like on hold because of these two guys holding up the whole league.
I don't know. So, like, I feel like if something does happen with Lamar, it'll be after the draft or during. Reports have been coming out this week about Aaron Rodgers. Joe Douglas, I don't know what event he was at, but he was on stage talking about something at some event. And someone asked him the question, whoever was hosting the event, like, all right, we got to address the elephant in the room. When's Aaron Rodgers coming? And he kind of threw the bird call out there that he's coming soon. So he could either be –
he's definitely going there. I just wish they'd just make it – I can't – he's not going to stay with the Pack, right? Like, I think there's almost no path.
No, I think in any situation he don't even come back to the team.
Yeah. Either he retires or he goes to the Jets. I don't think there's any other options. Yeah. I think there's no other path.
Yeah, which all of us have been heavy on that for the past couple of weeks. I think we all agree on what that result will be. I mean, you're not going to pay $60 million to your backup quarterback,
right?
You know?
No, not at all.
So right. he's either gonna retire or sit and take his money or go to the Jets. But yeah, the reports have been they're probably gonna figure that out this week, or not this week, the day one of the draft. But this whole Lamar thing, because after Odell made the announcement, Lamar posted on his story on Instagram him on FaceTime with Odell because they're good friends, I suppose. Because he's got a good relationship with a lot of the younger guys. Because a lot of the younger guys now. Kind of grew up, not really grew up, but one of their favorite players was Odell. So they're kind of following him along there.
Yeah, he's not that much older. But I can, you tend to be looking at the guys that are slightly older than you,
Right.
So.
And who knows, like, if he would have stayed healthy, the narrative probably would be different right now. He would have been the Super Bowl MVP. No doubt, he was well on his way to when the Rams were playing the Bengals.
Yep. I agree.
But I'm glad to see he finally got his money. He's on the team.
I mean, like, he's been a very exciting player to watch. I mean, I've always, he's kind of had some amazing catches, but I never felt like, other players have done similar kinds of moves in football over the years. Like, I remember Terrell Owens was always like, there's all kind of drama with him and everything. Where I don't feel like with Odell, there's been that drama as much. There was when he was younger. But since then, I feel like it's been kind of, he just wants to play and he wants to be in a spot and he wants to contribute. He doesn't come in thinking he's the number one. Like, where some of these guys think
which in Baltimore, I think he is easily.
He is.
So that kind of works out for him as well.
I don't disagree with that,
So it's just so crazy how, like, this whole time Lamar's been there, they haven't went out and gotten Odell Beckham for him. But now through all this chaos,
all of a sudden,
yeah, they bring him in.
Maybe he should have been fighting for this stuff earlier, I guess.
So now if you're Lamar, it's like, okay, they actually got me. They got me a guy. Do I just quit what I'm standing for throughout the past 2 seasons and go play with him, or do I stick to what I think is true?
I think he really likes
and go through it.
From everything I can tell, and who knows, you can't tell behind the scenes. See, he really likes that organization. I mean, it seems like that community. It seems like, I'm sure he's got his issues with the management at times.
Well, yeah, and his tweet to the
his
fans.
Team, his tweets to the fans. I feel like he's very much a part of that community. Like, I feel like if he can have a path to stay, it's similar to, like, LeBron going back to Cleveland in the sense that they're all going to forgive him. They're going to forgive him after all this if he stays. Like, it's not going to be any fallout for him in that community.
and that makes Baltimore that much better.
I just don't see him going back at this point.
I don't either,
I feel
but
like
you could see why he might.
It's too far.
Back,
it's too far gone. But yeah, I have no idea how that's.
Well, what else
out.
is happening?
Well, Tyreek Hill announced, or his plans are now that he's going to retire as a Miami Dolphin when his contract is up in 2025.
Yep.
When he spoke with WHB-AM of Kansas City about his future plans. He's going into his 10th season. He says, I'm going to finish out this contract with the Dolphins, and then I'm going to call it quits. I want to go into the business side. I want to do so many things in my life, bro. That's what he says.
I respect that.
Yeah, it's just so crazy because I can't. First off, I can't believe he's going into his 10th season.
Yeah, it seems like that was, he's been around less, I guess.
Yeah. Easily, people have their own opinions on this, but could easily be argued that he's the best receiver in the league. Stats kind of show up for it. The money's there. He's the highest paid receiver in the league right now. He's pretty much done everything you can. I mean, I don't know what major records he has or what he's close to, but nonetheless, he's got a Super Bowl championship.
Yeah, I think he's
played with one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. He's well on his way.
Yeah,
we'll see how the rest plays.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
I would put him in there.
Yeah, I think he's. You got to see what he does in the next couple of years. I mean,
well, they'll put anybody.
His numbers up.
They'll put anybody in the Hall nowadays. Yeah. So it's like,
well, true, but I mean,
it's all about who you know and how you treated these people. Yeah. I guess so.
He's definitely an exciting, been an exciting player, and
one of the most electric.
It is kind of weird, though. It is weird to me when these guys announce that they're retiring, in a couple years. It's such a weird.
That's because you can't count on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing to do. I mean, I did it, in my profession. I'm like, I knew I had 3 years, but I had to retire at 55, because of the way contracts work.
Oh, sure.
But I mean, he could stay. It's weird when someone in this thing kind of does it, because I do feel like you're 2 years away and you don't know what's going to change. Like, he could get to the end of this year and say, it's not, or he could get to the end of next year and say, you know what, I still got some juice in the tank or whatever. So to me, it's always weird when and I take him at his word. I don't think he's manipulating or anything, but it's just kind of funny when. It's kind of like when you announce you're retiring. I kind of part of me feels like, well, you're kind of already retired if you're already kind of talking about retirement. You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of like the guys that you never know what they're going to do, and then you just kind of go.
So he said he plans on, because he's big in the gaming industry right now. Well, he's working on climbing up the ranks, I suppose. He's a big Fortnite streamer, so I guess he does well there. So that's he kind of mentioned that he wants to continue off with that and go into business in the video game industry, which is going to be interesting because I don't know. I can't really think of any other football players that have tried to tackle the video game industry like he plans on doing. So it's a big, thing going on. I think
he's got a smart guy. He's got to think about what's next. I think it's a smart thing to do because this money doesn't last forever, and he wants to continue to, build a brand, and good for him.
Yeah, I know he does well with the YouTube. He's a big vlogger.
Yep.
Yep. As you can see with the most recent retired players who have gone into business ventures, I mean, you got Pat McAfee, for example.
Yep.
He's leading, not even just sports media. He's captured and innovated the media world as it is right now, especially in the digital media landscape. You see the Kelsey brothers right now.
Yep.
New Heights podcast. They've been the number one sports podcast for a couple months now. Pretty much ever since they started. So the list goes on.
Yeah. Or a lot of them, when they buy franchises, sometimes even not even in,
sure,
they buy they're LeBron was part owner of Liverpool or whatever it was. He was part owner of. I like when they kind of they kind of do other things, especially when it's not even in their sport. When they kind of go to a different sport or. Obviously a lot of them get into sneaker design and fashion and restaurants and all that type of stuff. So. I mean, I like that they're going to use their knowledge of how all these industries work to kind of, continue to be involved. I kind of like that.
Yeah, that's right. Especially Antonio Brown. He owns the Albany Empire.
I don't even know what that is.
Shout out Antonio Brown.
What is it?
It's some like indoor league, the National Arena League. It is.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. Oh, that's very cool. Oh, all right.
He's trying, man.
Good. Hey, you know what? Because you know what? I'm 55. Like, these guys are a lot younger. What are they going to do? Sit home and golf? Like, like, what are they going to do? Like, you gotta have, you get old quick if you don't have something.
Oh, and I forgot a big one, too. Antonio Brown, I was kind of joking around a little bit.
Yeah, good for him, though. I mean,
because I guess his dad used to play for them or something, he said.
Okay.
But no, a big one is the Manning brothers. I mean, you seen their production company is partnered with ESPN.
Yep.
So
no, it's do like I did this.
Go out on your own terms. Is pretty much
go out on your
I'm
own terms and do something that you love. Like do something like I'm fortunate to be doing this because it's something I enjoy to do, but I'm doing it. It's not what I did before, but it's taking some background of things that I did know how to do. But every day is a new day. Like, I think that keeps you young that when you have stuff to do. And I think that's the key. Like
it's a new day. Yes, it is.
Yeah. You're done. So.
So yeah,
good luck, Tyreek.
Shout out Tyreek.
I don't. He's going.
Let's see if he's going to win a Lombardi with the Miami Dolphins. Let's see if they go on a run.
That's
him
okay.
and Tua.
They may win the division, but I don't see them going much more than that. I still think there's some other. They're not.
Not a fan of the Dolphins.
No, I just don't think that. I don't think the Dolphins are that good. They're not that complete of a team.
Jeez,
they did make some changes, but are they better than Kansas City? Is anything happen in Kansas?
Saying that.
Does anybody? Well, they're not going to win the Super Bowl. They're not going to win the Lombardi. Hey. I mean, I don't see them.
Listen.
Tua, he's got to learn to not fall on his head.
Todd. Anything could happen. I mean, you see all the injuries. It's the name of the game.
Yep.
I know I keep moving on you there.
No, that's me. I was trying to adjust the camera. So.
As you see, the Bills were the absolute favorite last year. Look at all the injuries that happened. I mean, that's the name of the game.
I would hate
anything
could
happen. I
would never want to be the favorite.
No,
I just feel like you're just set up to fail. No matter what, like you're going to be a disappointment. I'd rather be the underdog any day of the week.
Well, I'll tell you what is not disappointing. We are now Josh Allen days away. Or some might say.
I like that.
Or some might say Phillip Rivers days away.
I wouldn't say that, but
Listen, who's another guy? Colts fans were saying Austin Collie on Twitter. I've been seeing that. Who else is 17? Anyway,
I don't know. I'd have to look.
We're 17 days away from the NFL draft. So I know. Listen, a lot of us act like we know it all. Okay, we try to bring out our crystal ball. All you analysts out there, we try to predict the future. On this show, we don't. We just speak our mind and, speculate. This show is all about speculation. Maybe in not most professional way, but semi-professional way. Half the time we're right, okay? So now, let's put our GM caps on. Since I don't have my fellows here this week, I know we mentioned we were going to do the Seattle Seahawks, but you know what? I thought, let's come out with Tank's mock draft point 1.0.
Okay, 1.0.
Let's see how this goes.
Ooh, this is the advanced one. 1.0.
So is there going to be another version? Who the hell knows?
All right,
the 1.0 could be the only one.
That's up there on
Boom.
the screen. And
so let's run through it. So now this isn't just what I think is going to happen. Because I don't know, I'm just getting that feeling. I'm just running through. I'm thinking as each team's general manager, trying to fill the voids that we need, okay? And based on our play styles and what we're looking to do, see how we want to grow our franchise and our fan base here, and try to fill voids in our schemes. So let's get right to it. Carolina Panthers traded up to number 1. They gave up quite the haul, didn't they, Maranto?
They did.
We'll see. They have a tough choice. They pretty much control their own narrative right now.
They're either going to be really smart or really dumb. There's no in between on this.
I don't think they could go wrong with either choice at quarterback because obviously the top prospects, as you can see, according to my mock draft board, they go Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud, but there's been speculation. Frank Reich, the newest head coach of the Carolina Panthers and their brand new owner, David Tupper. What's his name? Regardless, he's got money. So he cuts the checks. Whatever he says pretty much goes. He wants, I believe this is how it's going. He wants Bryce Young. Frank Reich wants C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud is more of a Frank Reich quarterback, sits in the pocket and lets it rip. Big on accuracy and in-game decisions. Bryce Young, however, a lot of people's worry about him is his height. He's pretty much checked off every other box in the tangibles here. So what I think is going to happen, my heart is telling me C.J. Stroud, but my brain's telling me Bryce Young. He's got all the qualities on the field, like I mentioned, other than the height. They say he's the Steph Curry of the NFL. Check out the highlight tape. Check out the film. He makes plays happen. And the thing with him is, when he's in the shotgun, he's already about 5 to 7 yards back. Okay? He sees the field. It's more like if you're picking a comparison, I guess you could go with Drew Brees. Kind of shorter. Football IQ is insane. So it's not like he was like 6'4" in college. He just shrunk out of nowhere. He's 5'8" or whatever. He's been playing 5'8" for years now. He knows what he's doing out there. So we're going Bryce Young to reset the Carolina Panthers franchise and try to turn it around there. So number 2 overall, the Houston Texans select C.J. Stroud. I know there's been reports this week, which, since there's not much going on in the NFL right now, there's going to be a whole bunch of bullshit that comes out. And one of them reports is that the Texans are considering not taking a quarterback in that second overall slot. There's no way they pass C.J. Stroud up, so I got them taking C.J. Stroud at 2. He's pretty much NFL ready, in my opinion. Texans really ain't got much to lose. They're ready to go, so C.J. Stroud at 2. So
the only thing is, and I'm going to say this because it's the only thing that I keep hearing about C.J. Stroud when I listen to stupid stuff, is people are really against him because he's because Ohio State never really has had that. I mean, you got to go back, 20-something years to find a Super Bowl champion Ohio State quarterback.
I feel like that started –
I think it's a legitimate concern because they have great quarterbacks every year, and they're always a competitive team. So is it that they don't seem to win at that big level like they need to with those quarterbacks that are their big stars?
Well, the narrative's always been the Ohio State never really got their quarterbacks NFL ready, but
right.
I think that's started changing when Ryan Day came along because, he had Joe Burrow. He ended up transferring.
Right.
Justin Fields, could have been in the MVP conversation if he had a slightly better team.
Right.
He damn near broke Lamar Jackson's rushing record for a quarterback. Did all these things. Now they're starting to realize and build around him. The narrative could be changed now. We'll see how it goes, but I got faith in C.J. Stroud. He's everything you look for in a quarterback, basically. But we know how some of these quarterback prospects play out. I just don't see a scenario where either Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud fall off, but we'll see. And number 3, let's keep in mind this mock draft, there's no trades, okay?
Got it. So
let's just say no one traded up to 3 with the Cardinals. Because obviously the word is that it's available. And Adam Schefter reported today that 6 teams reached out, supposedly. But the Cardinals are going to stick and take Will Anderson Jr. Some consider him as the best NFL prospect in this draft and the most NFL ready. We'll see. You could either argue him or Jalen Carter, but Jalen Carter, we know, has got some things going on off the field. So we're going to go Will Anderson to the Arizona Cardinals at 3. Defensive-minded head coach. Boom. Shots. Explosives. We know how that whole deal goes. Yep. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just look him up on Twitter.
Google. Get the old Google up.
Yeah, that clip will come up. Anyway, Will Anderson of the Cardinals. Indianapolis Colts.
Here he is, your boy.
Yeah, so here they would have Anthony Richardson or Will Levis there. And I know if you're peeking towards the right side of the screen, you're going to say, what the hell happened there? But we'll get to that. Anthony Richardson going to the Colts at 4 if they can't get a deal done with Lamar. And if, like I just mentioned, hypothetically, which, I mean, every fucking mock draft is hypothetical. We don't know nothing.
Yep.
But if it was up to me, Anthony Richardson is the quarterback to go there. Obviously,
I'm out there. I think he's going to go high in the draft. I think you're right. I can see that.
I,
Given this scenario so far, I think this is very plausible.
Thank you. Anthony Richardson, so he I forget who I was watching the other day. He mentioned that Anthony Richardson lights up the highlight film or highlight tape. Makes a lot of wild plays. Very athletic, but he said he's not a film quarterback, which kind of makes sense because if you watch the film, if you look up Anthony Richardson film, you're going to see a lot of mistakes, accuracy issues somewhat, but you got to keep in mind, too, that the team around him wasn't that great. If you also watch the same film, you're going to see a lot of drops and a lot of miscommunications at the offensive line where Anthony Richardson calls one thing and they obviously do the other. So I think for Anthony Richardson, one of the best scenarios for him would be falling to the Indianapolis Colts scheme and what they're trying to build with Shane Steichen.
I think athletically he's NFL ready, you know.
Oh, for sure, but it's more like it's more mechanics and.
But mechanics is something that they'll develop over time. Most quarterbacks don't come out like Mahomes did. Most quarterbacks are going to take a couple years to get to that.
Mahomes took a season and a half, basically.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to.
I mean, nobody really thought. Look, Josh Allen's progress.
Which
Burrow's progress.
Josh
Jalen
Allen
Hurts. Like these guys, got to give them some time.
Josh Allen is helping Anthony Richardson's case because
for sure. Yeah, that's a great one.
He's one of his comps, and
yep.
They're saying some of the same things about Josh Allen, the accuracy and the mechanics and the decision making.
As long as they got, I don't know who. I mean, this is your team. Who's the quarterback coach at the Indianapolis Colts?
So I don't know the quarterback coach, but he came from a Shane Steichen tree, I guess. I forget his name.
As long as they if it's him.
But Shane Steichen is going to be the one.
Get him the guy.
He's going to be the one working.
They got to get. If you got a guy that I don't know that person, but if maybe we will know that person once they, once he, one way or the other, we're going to know if he was the right choice. If this is the scenario, assuming this all happens.
We're obviously going to have to wait and see how it plays out there, but he's got a high ceiling, and if he falls in the right system, he will hit his ceiling, and I think he could be a superstar in this league, but it all depends where he goes. I think Indianapolis is a good fit with Shane Steichen is a great offensive-minded coach, as you've seen his track record. We've mentioned first quarterback he's worked with in the NFL, Phillip Rivers, developed Justin Herbert's rookie records for passing yardage. Obviously turned Jalen Hurts into a potential bust into an MVP candidate and potential Super Bowl quarterback. So we'll see how that goes there. I got the Colts taking Anthony Richardson.
Okay.
Number 5. Seattle Seahawks select Jalen Carter out of Georgia. Makes the most sense here. They pretty much need to fill any positions. So why not take one of the best players in the draft? Jalen Carter helps your defensive line out there, especially a defensive-minded team, all around, building towards the future here. They hit on a few guys last year's draft, so why not continue to build the youth there? I know he's got his off-field issues and whatnot, but you can't deny his talent. So Jalen Carter 5 to the Seahawks. I think that's a good fit. Number 6 overall, we got the Detroit Lions taking wide receiver out of TCU, Quentin Johnston. Obviously, the Detroit Lions had one of the best offensive attacks in the league last season. They're going to look to continue to build that with the potential best wide receiver in this draft as they do have another pick in this first round. So we'll get to them again in a second. The Raiders, they've been in some conversations about trading up, but like I mentioned, there's no trades in this mock. We're just going to act like there's no trades allowed. So I got them building their offensive line to protect Jimmy Garoppolo, Josh Jacobs, and the whole Raiders offense with offensive tackle out of Northwestern, Peter Skoronski. Number 8, Atlanta Falcons taking the long wingspan Tyree Wilson edge out of Texas Tech. I don't have too much information on Tyree Wilson, but it makes the most sense for Atlanta to take him there. They pass up on Will Levis, which he's starting to fall back in this draft, as you can see. They're committed to Desmond Ridder, as they mentioned. They mentioned they're out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes, which if you're out of the Lamar Jackson sweepstakes, you're most likely out of the Will Levis sweepstakes. So they're going to stick with building around Desmond Ridder, trying to upgrade their defense, which they need help pretty much almost everywhere. Tyree Wilson is the pick for them there. Number 9, the Chicago Bears select Paris Johnson, Jr., tackle out of the Ohio State. They're going to look to continue to build the line around Justin Fields in his run game, trying to get the passing game, give him some time to sit back in the pocket and let that thing rip. Probably to his new receiver, new weapon, DJ Moore. So we're going to get some protection for Justin Fields in Chicago and build around him by taking Paris Johnson, put his big body offensive tackle on the line there to protect him. 10th overall, I got the Philadelphia Eagles taking edge out of Georgia, Nolan Smith. The mathematician, engineer, Nolan Smith. He's going to be reunited with Nakobe Dean and Jordan Davis. Obviously, the Eagles love what they've seen out of Georgia by taking 3 of these guys here, reuniting them. You can't deny the talent and the physicality out of Nolan Smith. Ran a 4.3 for a linebacker. You don't see that happen often. So they're going to take Nolan Smith, 10th overall. Phenomenal combine. 11th overall, got the fucking Tennessee Titans. Staying in Tennessee, taking offensive tackle Darnell Wright. Don't got too much information on this guy. I know he's a big bastard. Protected Hendon Hooker. You know. They'll take anything they could get. Because I was thinking maybe they go wide receiver here. Maybe even a quarterback, but it looks like, according to my mock, which is the right mock, they're passing up on Will Levis to get protection for the line for Derrick Henry going into his last few years of his prime and trying to build for the future. And maybe stick with Ryan Tannehill. Who the hell knows? Because there have been rumblings that they're looking to free up some cap space with Ryan Tannehill. Yep. 12, we're going to stay in the AFC South here. The Houston Texans received this pick from the Cleveland Browns out of that Deshaun Watson deal. They're going to add somebody C.J. Stroud is familiar with here. One of his favorite weapons, not named Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Smith-Njigba. Okay? Wide receiver out of Ohio State. They got the connection. They love what they see. D'Amico Ryans loves what he sees out of the connection between Stroud and Jackson Smith. So why not carry this over into the big boys league? I think that's a good pick for Houston there. 13th overall pick, if the Jets do end up keeping this in the Aaron Rodgers trade, which from what we've been hearing, they don't want nothing to do with giving up that 13th overall pick. So they're going to take Anton Harrison, tackle out of Oklahoma. Another big body offensive tackle. With Mekhi Becton kind of been injury prone the past couple years, looking to build on their offensive line and potentially protect Aaron Rodgers. We'll see. We shall see. 14th overall, the New England Patriots send us on out. Bill Belichick, he likes to surprise us every year in the first round, doesn't he? From what we remember. Last year he took Cole Strange, guard, out of who the fuck knows where. East Bumfuck. Sean McVay.
And that worked out, didn't it?
He was okay. He looked cool. He had the single bar, on the helmet.
Well, there you go.
Cole
that's
Strange.
what matters.
But a lot of the coaches, Sean McVay, came out and said they had him ranked in their third round. But Bill Belichick said,
I think Bill
Belichick first overall
has
talent.
no clue what he's doing at this point. He's counting. He's got 19 wins that he needs to get, right, to be the most successful coach, most wins of all time.
You tell me.
And I think he basically made a deal with Kraft, like, I'll get out of here, but I need 19 wins. And he's not going to do that in the next 2 years. So at some point they have to decide if they're keeping him so he can get some arbitrary record, or he's going to leave and someone else is going to pick him up for a year so he can get to that.
I don't see him going anywhere else.
Well, I just don't. I think they've had a deal that they're trying to get him to be the winningest coach of all time, and they're willing to stink because they're not getting better and they're not doing anything to get better.
Well, it doesn't help when you hire a defensive coordinator as your offensive coordinator. That's one thing.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're doing, and I love it. Because I just want them to be an obscure team that nobody cares about at all. So, no offense to this guy, I don't think he's going to be much of a. We got to make a big difference in their run to the not making the playoffs this year.
Well, we'll see if Will McDonald out of Ohio,
the fourth,
or Iowa,
not
State,
to be
rather.
confused with Will McDonald the third.
Sorry,
Will
McDonald the fourth.
Yeah,
edge out of Iowa State, which they've been reports he could be a guy.
Okay.
He could be a guy. A lot of mocks I've seen, which obviously, like I mentioned, nobody knows nothing,
Right.
It's all he say, she say, but a lot of them have read that they could see him slip into the second round. But like I mentioned, Bill Belichick likes to surprise us, He loves the defensive guy. Why not take Will McDonald at 14th overall? And I know New England Patriots fans aren't going to be happy seeing this.
No,
because everyone, at least, I like to dibble dabble in some of the other teams' Twitter sometimes just see what the noise is.
Me too.
A lot of New England fans, they're hell bent on getting Jackson Smith and thinking he's going to fall back to 14, which I don't know. If Houston gets C.J. Stroud, which the word is they really want Bryce Young, but you can't pass up C.J. Stroud at 2 if Bryce Young's off the board at 1. Why not bring that connection over, that familiarity?
Yep. I think that makes a lot of sense, especially for a young quarterback. So I think that's a smart move.
Sorry, New England, you ain't getting Jackson Smith.
Nope.
Anyway, going to 15 here overall. What are the Packers going to do? They always like to surprise us in every draft as well, right? A couple years ago, they traded up to get Jordan Love after Aaron Rodgers came off his MVP COVID season. He hasn't played really since then.
This is a smart move. I like this pick.
You like this one,
I
Darnell
like
Washington.
this pick because I feel like if you've got a new quarterback, you need a tight end that can come in ready to go.
You need an absolute freak at tight end.
Yes, and I think this is a really smart pick. If this falls the way it does, I think this is a really smart pick.
And listen,
because he can block if he needs to, but more importantly, he can just get available because. I forget.
Sure, because he can make moves out in open space.
Yes, and you can dump off. You can dump off to him quickly, which is what this guy. I forget. I can't think of who they're. I always forget his name. Green Bay's quarterback.
Bob.
They're
tight end.
The guy. No, the quarterback that they're thinking of.
Disrespect.
I can't. I'm drawing a blank.
Jordan Love.
Thank you.
Spread the love, man.
And I think that he's going to need somebody to dump it off to.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're not set up too badly. They drafted Christian Watson, Romeo Dobbs, which Dobbs had not a great rookie season, but it's only his first year. Still
but they need to give him some weapons, so somebody they can catch.
Darnell Washington, I see that. It makes sense.
Yep.
He's going to keep the same logo on his helmet, just different color scheme.
Yeah, that's nice. That?
Yeah. But 6'7" or 6'8", rather, either or. Playmaker, tight end. He could block if needed be, but he could go up and make a big play. His comparison was kind of – I've seen Kyle Pitts compared to him, which we haven't really seen too much. Sorry, Josh, if you're watching at home. I know this is your guy, Kyle Pitts, but we haven't really seen much of him. He's only scored in London.
Oh.
He's the greatest tight end all time in London, you know.
There you
But
go.
here in the States, not so much. But Darnell Washington, he's going to be a guy, and they're saying this draft is loaded with the tight end position, so
Yeah.
we'll see. So
Heavy tight
Darnell
end draft.
Washington is the
Yeah.
first tight end off the board out of Georgia.
Okay.
16th overall, the Washington Commanders. They have also committed to their young quarterback, Sam Howell. They signed Jacoby Brissett. What's it? Ron Rivera. I'm sorry. Just fucking blanked on his name for a second. You know, because he hasn't really showed up the past couple of years. You know, that
Right.
tends to happen. Just like how he forgot the seeding situation towards the end of the season. You know, you just forget how shit plays out sometimes. They take Lucas Van Ness, edge out of Iowa. I don't really know much about Lucas Van Ness, but I think he had a decent combine from my memory. You can't go wrong. Listen, the two positions out of Iowa, you can't go wrong with linebacker or tight end, okay? If you see the Iowa logo next to either position, you got a fucking guy. So we're going Commanders to take Lucas Van Ness to strengthen up that defense. How about that? Let's head over to Pittsburgh. Who do Yins think you're getting down there? You're going to be getting Devin Witherspoon, cornerback out of Illinois. I know some of the Steelers fans are going to be happy because they wanted to bring in Joey Porter Jr., which his dad was a legend of a linebacker who played for the Steelers, Joey Porter Sr.
I have to say this is completely unrelated to the draft.
Okay.
But I
Here we go.
love the big eye. I really just love that big orange eye. I don't know
That's the
why.
reason.
It's just something I've always just loved the color scheme of that uniform
Okay.
and the logos with the eye because I think they're orange and black, right?
I like navy blue.
No, but I just always like that
It's
big.
pretty much the same scheme, the color scheme
Yeah.
as the Syracuse orange.
Yeah, kind of. But I like
Pretty
that
much.
big stupid eye, big orange
Just like
eye.
the big stupid ass.
Simple, varsity letter looking. I love it. Old school. I like it.
So obviously Steelers need help at corner in their
Yep.
cornerback room.
That's a good
You
fit
know,
for them, too.
and-
Yeah, that's definitely a good fit for them.
A lot of mocks I've seen they've had Devin Witherspoon get picked a little higher. So cornerback, it's a deep position in this draft as well. But I got them passing up Joey Porter Jr. to take Devin Witherspoon out of Illinois. Let's see if the Steelers cornerback room will get cooked this season. We'll see because they got fried last year. Detroit Lions back on the board at 18. Obviously, they traded T.J. Hawkinson, their tight end, their superstar. Would you say superstar? Star. We'll just go with star
Let's
tight
not get
end.
carried away. Yeah,
We'll just go with star for
Yeah,
now.
he's a star.
T.J. Hawkinson is over in Minnesota, their division rival. A lot of people question that trade just for what they got out of it, I guess. But it turns out they got a lot of picks later in this draft as well, so it might work out for the best. But nonetheless, they're going to find his replacement. Forgive me if I mispronounce. Dalton Kincaid. Sounds right, doesn't it?
It seems like, how else would you pronounce it?
Kincaid,
I don't know.
Kaid.
Somebody will say it differently.
Out of Utah, tight end. The only game I remember watching of his, he tore up USC in that bowl game. You remember, right? Yeah, you remember that.
I did not see very many bowl games.
You got to go along with it, man.
Okay, yeah, that was a great
It was
game.
a great game.
He was awesome.
Great game out of Dalton. I think
He's a superstar.
he might be. We'll see.
He might be. I mean, if these picks work out for Detroit, and a lot of us had big hopes for Detroit last
Hey, listen,
year.
right now, the last time I checked,
Detroit
they were
looking pretty damn good.
They were the favorite to win the division at -115.
And you win
on
that
FanDuel.
division, and you get a home game, and you never know. Like, could be. The West is always interesting. I mean,
West,
the NFC. The NFC is always interesting to me
What
right
league
now.
are you
'Cause-
in?
yeah, I don't know. Like, are they in the AFC Central? So
For a moment of silence.
it's no AFC Central. No, but
used to be, right?
yeah, there used to be, and that's why I forget sometimes the division names. But
Get back
I
to
do
2023,
think I think that fast forward. I think Detroit's a team that I feel like they're a pretty good team. I'd like to see
I'd like to see when they've got if these first couple, because they've got a couple of picks here. Like, see what they do with it. These guys show up.
Okay.
They could have a lot of fun.
Finally, I know some of you've been thinking, well, Will Levis has been lingering around here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers pick him up at 19.
He belongs in Tampa.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. He just looks like
a beach guy?
Yeah, he looks like a beach dude. Where's he from? I know he's Kentucky, but
I couldn't even tell you.
I gotta look it up.
He might be. Well, so here's some of the questions that the GM could potentially have for Will Levis, because obviously the potential's there, right?
Yeah.
But here's a few things that people.
He's from
forget.
Massachusetts.
Excuse me.
Massachusetts.
That's
where he went to high school.
All right.
Connecticut. He ended up moving, and he played high school in Connecticut.
Okay.
So
all the way. So he was originally at Penn State. He got beat out by Sean Clifford. So this is one thing you got to ask him if you're a GM or whatever in these meetings. Figure out what's going on there. Why did you get beat out by Sean Clifford at Penn State? Why Kentucky? And just look at the tape. You see some flashes there. He's gutsy. I think this is a wild comparison. It's an easy comparison. He reminds me a lot of Carson Wentz. Okay? Gutsy. IQ could be there sometimes, but he ignores a lot of what the defense is giving him and tries to make the big play happen, which could, as we know, bite him in the ass. Okay? Didn't really win much in Kentucky his senior year. Got hurt. We didn't really see much of him towards the tail end. So there's some question marks there. But like I said with Anthony Richardson, if he falls to the right system and develops him right, he could turn out to be a guy. I just see him slipping a little bit all the way down to 19th. I think Tampa, they just signed Baker Mayfield. They drafted Kyle Trask a couple years ago. Didn't really seem to work out. Right. I mean, why not for Tampa? I mean, bringing a new quarterback could be a potential face of the franchise.
Yeah, they really need to.
Why not?
They're going to have to build up again. They're kind of, that's where this team is. They did what they needed to do to get that Super Bowl.
Bought in for a Super Bowl, which a lot of the guys.
I don't disrespect that at all. Sometimes forget about building dynasty. Let's just win right now. Put all our eggs in that basket and try to win the freaking trophy.
Which, I mean, a lot of the guys that are still on the team were on that Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
So it's like, and some of them, they're not that old. I mean, other than Mike Evans, who's getting up there, but he can still play. Chris Godwin, he's going on the second year of his new contract. They got some weapons there. I mean, I feel like people forget just the way the last two seasons have gone. Defense, still got a lot of young guys in that squad. Antoine Winfield Jr., Devin White, Jamel Dean re-signed there. Sean Murphy-Bunting went to the Titans, I believe. So we'll see how it turns out. But I think Will Levis, that's a good situation for him down there in Tampa. He'll go in whenever Baker Mayfield fucks up.
Yep.
At 20, Seattle Seahawks again. They're taking Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon. A lot of people got him ranked as not even just one of the top corners in the draft, but one of the top players. Somehow, we know there's some guys like that, they tend to slip in the draft. For what reason? We don't know. The draft is crazy. So in this scenario, I see him slipping. Seattle adds another young, talented cornerback to the room with Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant. Christian Gonzalez, Seattle Seahawks. They're going to keep building.
Yeah, that's a Seattle kind of thing.
Yeah. 21. Will you do something for me? Chargers take Joey Porter Jr., cornerback out of Penn State. So Steelers, I know you fans, you're hoping he come to you guys, but in this scenario, Chargers need some extra help in their cornerback room as well. I mean, they got Asante Samuel Jr., J.C. Jackson, who was kind of banged up last season. He was a big signing for them last offseason. Why not add some help with Joey Porter Jr.? 22, this is where it's interesting. The Baltimore Ravens get another weapon. Is this another potential pitch to Lamar? We'll see. One of the top-ranked wide receivers in this draft.
This guy's going to be a big star.
Zay Flowers out of Boston College.
You can't not be a big star with the name Zay Flowers.
Cool
right?
name.
That's a great football name. Get the.
Sorry, I thought I sneezed.
I get that jersey. I'd buy that jersey.
You'd buy the
Flowers.
jersey.
I like the Ravens jersey. So I think Flowers. This guy's a big star. He's gonna be great.
Shorter end, speedy receiver, can make plays happen. You just bring in Odell Beckham Jr. Okay.
Yep.
You still got Devin Duvernay, who's sort of young. We'll see. Rashad Bateman, healthy, he's pretty good. So Ravens could. I mean, it's so crazy to me how you remove Lamar Jackson from that scenario, they fall off.
Yep.
But when you bring them back in with Odell, Mark Andrews there, a defense or solid offensive line, good defense. If you bring Lamar back, they're back in the picture just like that.
And this does give them, if you're building, you've got you can afford them to keep them, so to speak, because now you're paying rookies.
Who knows, man? I mean,
obviously, Odell's
would it be a bad setup for Lamar? But they just got to pay him.
They got to pay.
That's the only. I think that's the only way they get him back. But nonetheless, the Baltimore Ravens get another weapon, Zay Flowers out of Boston College. 23, the Minnesota Vikings select Jordan Addison, wide receiver out of USC. He was also ranked high as well. This wide receiver class is going to be interesting to see how it plays out because any of these guys could fall into any of these spots. A lot of these teams could use another weapon. Jordan Addison's got the size to him. I don't really know much else about him. But all I know is that if you're a wide receiver, come out of USC, you're going to be a fucking guy, okay? That's just how it works.
Yep.
So add him. They lose Adam Thielen to the Carolina Panthers, and they add in Jordan Addison to put next to Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, and TJ Hawkinson. We'll see what Minnesota could do. They had high hopes last season, kind of fell apart at the end, losing the playoff game of the Giants. We'll see what Jordan Addison can do for them. 24, Duval County stand up. Because your Jaguars are selecting Miles Murphy, edge out of Clemson, building up on that defense. They took Trayvon Walker at 1 last year. He had an okay rookie season, I guess. Made a playoff appearance. Why not strengthen your defense with Miles Murphy there? Solid linebacker. Giants at 25. They could really use anybody. So why not one of the best players available here, Brian Branch, safety out of Alabama. Roll Tide. 26, Dallas Cowboys. I know I'm going to fuck this name up. Do you want to give it a shot?
No. When I was a high school teacher, if I would look at the name and I would try to, if there was a name like this, I would go with the last name.
Okay.
I'd be like, Cansey? Is there a Cansey here? And how do you say your first name?
And then Kalaj is going to stand up and say, "That's me, Mr. Moranto."
Okay. And then, thanks, man. Nice meeting you. How do you say your first name? And then I would get it wrong.
Kalaj.
And then I get it wrong till Christmas. So I can't wait for the announcers to screw the, like if you're listening there and I mean like when you get to like the preseason when they keep screwing it up. I like those things when the local announcers screw things up.
Kalaj
Cansey.
Defensive interior out of Pittsburgh.
He can see. That's what I see. He's not can't. He can see.
He can see him. Not like John Cena.
Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys strengthen up their defense. There's a high praise for him coming out of the combine. I believe this was the guy that was like 6'1" or whatever. Kind of short for a defensive lineman, but he could be a guy. Dallas Cowboys, their defense is pretty solid. I mean, they added Stephon Gilmore on the opposite side of Diggs, and then you got Parsons. What's his name? 55, Van Ness or something.
Oh, okay.
Solid defense, one of the best in the league, I guess, if you go look them up. Cowboys, Kalaj Cansey adding to their defense. All right, so I want to hear your feedback here. 27.
That was a stupid pick. We should have traded up to first and got a running back. This is how Buffalo fans are. They're not going to be happy about this pick. I predict if they pick, and it's because they don't understand football. No offense to a lot of football fans. I feel like their complaints are warranted, but they're not going to draft. They're not going to get a wide receiver in the first or a tight end in the first round. They're going to go. This is, I think, a very plausible pick. And I don't disagree with the pick, by the way. I feel like they need to do more with the line.
So the pick is Broderick Jones, tackle out of Georgia. My reason for this is obviously they need help on the offensive line.
Actually, the thing today, there was a stat that's on the radio I heard today that they said that it was a poll, and I don't know where it was, but Buffalo fans are pretty much saying just build the offense, build the offense, build the offense. So I actually do think they'll be happier with an offensive line versus a defensive line or a safety or something. So
can't go wrong with much of them, but
give Josh what he needs. Help Josh out here.
You need your protection on the line.
Yeah, I think most people actually be pretty happy with this pick, to be honest. If you're not getting a wide receiver, because it seems like a lot of the wide receivers in this
as you can see,
scenario,
they're going like crazy.
Yeah, they're going
in
like
Tank's mock
they're
draft.
Going like
they're
going like
the board.
Dylan's hotcakes. They're like that went the other day. They're going quick. So no, I think it's not a great. Although I think they're pretty committed tight end wise.
Yeah, Dawson
Knox, and I think they
drafted someone last year too.
Yeah, so I don't think they're in the tight end market, and they're not trading because they just don't do that. So, and I don't think they're not picking up a wide receiver in the market. So I think they're.
You need to build your line, dude.
This is where they are.
And another thing too, Brandon Beane mentioned a couple times this season in his interviews that you can't go wrong with any player from Georgia.
He's not wrong.
That's one of the most
and I think
scouted
get him some help on that line, because that was a lot of our criticism with the line. Couldn't do a damn thing.
So Broderick Jones hopes to help the Bills out on their offense.
Welcome to town, Broderick.
Welcome to town, Broderick.
Let's take you to Duff's.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had to suggest a wing joint for him, what would it be?
I'm a Niagara Falls wing guy, so I don't know a lot of the buffaloing places as well as I should, admittedly.
My first thought is I love Macy's. What else is there? Lenova, kind of overrated.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take him up here and take him
to the Falls.
I'm gonna take him up to Griffin Pub.
Take him to McAnally.
Get those duck wings down at Griffin Pub. You've ever had those?
No, I haven't.
Duck wings are pretty damn good.
I've had duck.
The duck wings down at Griffin Pub are pretty damn good. Thank you for sponsoring our podcast. Oh, they're not an official sponsor. The amount of money my son spends there, they should be a sponsor. He goes to Griffin Pub a lot. Yeah.
Take him down to McAnally's. Get him
McAnally's,
load him up.
Put
him on the line and protect Josh.
That turkey sandwich you were talking about?
It's very solid. Right. 28 Cincinnati Bengals lost Hayden Hurst, as we've seen.
Yeah.
Okay. They're going to select one of the best tight ends in the draft. They're saying Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame, which I feel like that's the right move for them.
I agree.
They re-signed a couple of their offensive linemen.
Yep.
Even brought in Orlando Brown from Kansas City. His dad played there, so I felt like that was a cool little story.
Yeah, that was cool.
Michael Mayer, another weapon for Joey Burrow. 29th overall, New Orleans Saints select Deontay Banks, cornerback out of Maryland, another top-ranked cornerback in this draft. Can't go wrong with any cornerback from Maryland. That's what they say, at least. They could go anywhere with this. Some people are speculating Hendon Hooker may be at this spot, but I don't know if I could see Hendon Hooker going in the first round. I know that's been the word this week.
Yeah, I feel like he's not going to be a first rounder.
Yeah, I love seeing him, but
I think he's good. I think someone, if his recovery is good and he ends up in the right system, he's going to.
Which modern day medicine, he's going to be back.
He's going to be a beast in this league, but I think some teams are looking. They want a guy right now, and I just don't think that's a thing.
I mean, 13 weeks out of Kyler Murray surgery, he's squatting like 400 pounds. So it's like.
And this guy seems like he's driven. He was doing great.
Who's this, Kyler or Hendon?
Hooker.
Oh, Hooker. Okay.
Yeah, I think he was. I think I
I
kind
was
of.
say Dylan and Holmes flipping the fuck out.
Yeah, I was. I didn't know anything about him until I heard about the injury and stuff, and then I went and looked at some stuff about him, and I think he's got a. I can't wait to see if him.
Listen,
I like comeback players. I'm a big on comeback players, and
Yeah.
especially when he probably would have been where.
Oh,
if
he would have been
hurt.
He would have been top 10.
Yes, and so now I'm
opinion.
I'm rooting for a guy like him because I want to see him come back and I want to see him like prove everybody
Yeah,
wrong.
like I get it, he's 25,
you know.
a little older for being a rookie, but I don't know, man. Like he tore
He's
it
not
up
a
this
running
season.
back, you know.
Yeah, he's got the size, he's got the IQ. Doesn't make many mistakes. He's got the numbers to prove it.
And he won big games.
Yeah, that too.
That's what I like about him. He beat a lot of these guys that are going higher than him.
That's what I mentioned.
He's got a
what was
chip.
it, last week?
He's got, and because you
Hey,
mentioned, I went and looked some of that shit
A few of you TikTokers were going at me.
Yeah.
Okay,
not me. I'm giving you a like on the TikTok.
He didn't beat C.J. Stroud. He didn't play him.
Well, yeah,
But he beat.
he
Anthony,
would have though.
Probably, maybe.
I think he would have.
He beat Anthony Richardson, Will Levis, and then Bryce Young, Alabama. I mean, what?
He's got a chip, man.
Outperformed them too.
He's got a chip on the shoulder.
And a lot of people on TikTok were like, "Well, if that was the case, then Stetson Bennett would be number 1 overall because he beat all of them, defending national champion." Well, shut the hell up, dude. Because you know what? Stetson Bennett should be a first-round fucking pick.
Yeah.
Fuck you guys.
Okay. Wow. That's piss off your fans.
The people that were commenting on
Haters.
TikTok.
Put your haterade back in the fridge, man.
No, I love it. Keep it coming, man. 'Cause I love it. Because a lot of people don't expect you to respond, but here at Tank Talk, we respond. 30th overall, the Eagles.
Fly, baby. Eagle fly.
So they took one of the best or top talented linebackers earlier at 10, Nolan Smith. Here they're going to take the best running back in the draft, the Bijan Robinson, to replace Miles Sanders.
Makes sense.
You know, and of course it's like, of course he falls to the Eagles. You know.
Yeah. God damn it.
Yeah, I can't really think of any other teams that would take him any hard. Maybe Detroit.
No,
maybe Detroit, Buffalo might fuck around.
And running backs tend to not go a lot in the first round, correct? Like they tend to, because there's not a lot of longevity with running backs for the most part. It seems like.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that too. Which I get that. I don't know. It depends.
But I mean, it makes
depends on
sense
the
for
guy.
them, especially if they can grab a first rounder. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to
But
me.
the projections on him are crazy. People are already saying.
And they already had their pick because they have 2. So
Yeah,
it makes sense for them.
yeah.
Let's take a chance here. Let's not let them fall to the end of the second round, and then we need a running back. So we might as well. It's not like that's their only, because then would they draft 6th or 5th or something? 10th. So they already had their good pick.
Yeah, but they're like.
So good for them. I don't know. I like this.
The expectations that are being put on him are crazy.
Yeah.
People are saying he's going to be having a gold jacket, which that's wild. He didn't even step on the field yet. You're putting a gold jacket on him.
Yeah, let's take
Hall
it
of
easy.
Fame, dude.
Take it easy.
And then 31 overall, Kansas City Chiefs. Last pick in the first round because obviously the Dolphins had to forfeit their first round pick. Brian Brees, defensive interior out of Clemson. And of course, the Chiefs get a solid player, as they always do in the draft.
Jerks.
Build up that defense.
They shouldn't be allowed to even have a first round.
I haven't heard that argument yet.
No, there's some Buffalo fan right now saying that right now.
But there you have it.
They had it. It's not fair.
Tank's mock draft 1.0.
Well done.
And maybe the last. We'll see.
Well
we'll see
done.
how it plays out.
I think you're going to be you're 31 for 31. I think without a doubt.
I appreciate that.
Well, maybe not, but I believe in you.
Oh yeah, because nobody knoose nothing. We want to act like we know.
Nobody knows anything.
No, we see how every draft plays out. What was it?
How many people get the friggin' the bracket for the college basketball? Nobody.
You're better off hitting
Nobody.
that than you would this.
So this is as good a chance as anything.
Thank you. But one of the guys that normally hits is Peter Schrager. I think the last 3 seasons he's been like in the 75 to 80 percentile range, which is insane.
Well, the difference with drafting this type of stuff is there's a lot of analytics involved. And so there is a lot of
trades.
Yeah, I mean, not take, because obviously trades change this all up. But
if you don't have a trade or a guy, something that happens in the middle of the thing or some really surprising one, you could. I think if you got the right, not me, but I think a lot of people, if you've got the right background, you could be pretty damn close. But if you change one of these, it almost changes the next 10.
Yeah,
because it changes. You change one tight end, then and some of these teams are. You could almost. Some of these teams seem like they're pretty predictable what they're going to do.
And it's like what I really based it off here was what the team needs and their play style and their schemes and everything. So
I think you.
See how it plays out.
Good job. And if it's wrong, just delete the episode.
So
I don't know.
We'll leave it up. We got to hold ourselves accountable.
Yes.
We got to see where we went wrong and learn from it for next year. Because a lot of people, like I was going to say, nobody knows nothing because Malik Willis was supposed to go 3rd overall. He didn't get drafted till the 3rd round. So sometimes that's the way she goes. And off we go to the NBA playoffs. It's that time of year, ladies and gentlemen. So without further ado, let me pull it up here. Give me a second.
Yeah, talk about a season that went quick. I feel like
the
NBA went faster than the NFL went. I feel like it just. How are we at the? Of course, now the playoffs in the NBA seem like it lasts longer than the rest of the year. But
now it's a little different. I think.
I know they changed things up this year.
Third season with the play-in tournament. So
yes.
Why don't we pull up my screen here?
Okay, sorry. Let me get there.
And look it over. So here we go. Here's the playoff bracket. The play-in tournament for the West. We got the 9th seed New Orleans Pelicans taking on the 10th seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Then the other play-in matchup, the LA Lakers, the 7th seed, taking on the 8th seed Minnesota Timberwolves. So the way this works is that the winner of the 9-10 seed game will play the loser of the 7-8 seed, and the winner of that will take on the 1 seed Denver Nuggets, and the winner of the 7-8 seed will take on the Memphis Grizzlies with the 7th seed. So the play-in games for the Eastern Conference, 9th seed Toronto Raptors taking on the 10th seed Chicago Bulls.
Yep.
7th seed Miami Heat taking on the 8th seed Atlanta Hawks. So like I just mentioned, the winner of the 9-10 game will go ahead and play the loser of the 7-8. Then the winner
and none of them will make it past the next round.
We'll see.
Who gets sacrificed to play the top 2 teams in each East and the West?
We shall see. So
I don't see a lot of upsets from any of these teams that are in the play-ins.
I feel like there's those 1 or 2 shockers in the first round, but then after the first round, you can't predict the rest.
I just don't see the 1s and 2s. I don't see either one of them faltering.
Well, let's go over it real quick. So the matchups that are set for now: 4 seed Phoenix Suns taking on the 5 seed Los Angeles Clippers. 3rd seed Sacramento Kings, which fucking shout out Kings, man. They haven't been relevant since 2003.
Yeah, good for them. I like that.
Taking on the defending champion 6th seed Golden State Warriors, which I don't know.
Screw them.
What the hell happened for them to get to 6th seed? I know Curry was hurt for a while, but
I'm sick of them. I hate when a team's good for too long.
Well, up until
kind of sick.
Whenever Curry and Thompson leave, that's
it. Yeah, fold the wagons up. That's it.
But in the Eastern Conference,
talk about the good old days after that.
I mean, dude, it was the Warriors and the Cavaliers were my whole high school.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It was like, oh my God,
or towards the tail end of my high school career and over towards a good chunk of college. Yep. But yeah. 4 seed Cleveland Cavaliers taking on the 5 seed New York Knicks, who finally made the playoffs after a while. I feel like they haven't done nothing past couple of years. 3 seed Philadelphia 76ers taking on 6 seed Brooklyn Nets, which they scratched and clawed their way in there, huh?
Yep.
With losing KD and Kyrie. They'll probably get pummeled first round.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Thanks for coming by. We appreciate you stopping by. But you made it.
So. Obviously, 1 seed Nuggets, 2 seed Grizzlies for the West, 1 seed Bucks, and 2 seed Celtics for the Eastern Conference.
There you go.
So that's that. Looking forward to the play-in games.
Yeah,
they're one and done. So
yeah, I do like that. I do like that it's not a whole nother series that just takes forever, and it's just like, and then these other teams are sitting around and.
what are they doing? I know. I just feel like if I was the 1 seed, or even the 2nd or even the 3rd, like let's get going. Unless for some reason you got guys coming back from injury or something like that, and you're trying to,
exactly.
You're trying to bide some time. Most of them want to keep going here.
So why don't we keep going and try to make the best profit as we possibly can off our sports bets with the help of our friends over at Betstamp. Betstamp is the best sports gambling tool in the game and provides you the best odds in the market from all eligible sports books in your state and helps you track all your bets across each platform. For example, let's go to the play-in. Let's go to the play-in. Tomorrow night, April 11th. Oh, yeah, why don't we do this? Let's spread the bread.
All right, spreading the bread.
Let's do it. Cha-ching. The Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Los Angeles Clippers like I just mentioned. Now, when you see this number, I'll explain to you why it's so large. The Lakers are 7.5-point favorites, minus 110 on WinBet. And Timberwolves are plus 7.5-point dogs, minus 105 on Caesars Sportsbook. So looking at the other books here. Oh, let me get to why that spread is so wide. So, as we know, for those that have been following along, Rudy Gobert, I don't know what's going on in Minnesota. They love punching things. They love punching walls and punching their teammates. Rudy Gobert suspended by the Timberwolves and is out for the Lakers play-in game. The most important game of the season. They just traded literally their whole franchise to get him. And now for the most important game of the season, they're going to sit him because he got into I wouldn't even consider it a physical altercation with Kyle Anderson. Gave him one little baby punch to the shoulder with that wild-ass wingspan. He reached across the bench. Literally 3 grown-ass men sitting in a row. That's his wingspan.
That's crazy.
So I guess it carried on to the locker room after the game. He had to get escorted out the building. So the league didn't even suspend him. The team suspended him. So I don't know what the future looks like for Rudy Gobert in Minnesota, but it's going to look a little rocky. And then one of their young studs, what's his name? Jaden McDaniels, on the way out, walking to the tunnel, heading to the locker room, punches the concrete wall.
That's never a good plan.
Broke his hand on site.
Yeah, I saw that.
So he's out.
Out. See you next time.
Him and his hand out for the rest of the season. So that's why the spread is at 7.5 here.
Yep.
Lakers been on a roll with LeBron and AD coming back in full swing of things. So, I'm looking at the other books. They all got the same spread here. Really, the only difference is that FanDuel's got the spread at minus 114. Caesars got it at minus 115. So, you know what? We're going to take the Lakers minus 7.5 with the best odds on WinBet.
Okay.
At minus 110. So, let's go ahead and punch
I'm with you.
that.
Put it in.
Lakers move on.
Okay. I think that's a good bet.
Oh! Odds have changed.
Uh-oh. Better or worse?
Worse. But if you're to bet it right now, you better hurry up and get on that minus 110 because right now, the best odds for the 7.5-point spread is still WinBet, but minus 115. So go ahead and punch that in the day earlier because I don't think the Timberwolves are going to be worth a damn tomorrow night. So I got the Lakers moving on, taking care of business against the Timberwolves tomorrow night. And what we just did there is what we like to call line shopping, ladies and gentlemen. And Betstamp is the best place to do that. Betstamp also provides a marketplace where you can follow other good gamblers and see what the hot picks are. Follow our show on there at TankTalk_pod, see how we're doing, and tailor our picks of the night. So what are you waiting for? Download Betstamp today. Become Betstamp verified by downloading Betstamp using the promo code
TANK.
I knew someone was going to say it.
Well, there was somebody had to say it. Can't wait for those empty fucking chairs. Excuse my language. Hope my mom's not listening again.
You know what program you're on, dude?
Yeah, I don't think my mom's listening to this one.
Even if she is, welcome to the show, Mom.
Yeah.
Sign up promo code TANK, TANK, when you sign up to find the best odds in the market and start betting like a pro. So head over to Betstamp as you see here. This beautiful flag.
There it is.
You're going to go to the App Store.
That's the one perp of your brother not being here is that we can see the flag. We can see the flag.
You can still kind of see it.
I mean, it's nicer when your brother's here, but I mean, next week he's gonna have a freaking cowboy hat. What are we gonna do? He's gonna have a big freaking Stetson. We're gonna have to change the camera angle.
Yeah. Are we able to raise it a little bit? You think?
Then it won't be in the shot. So we gotta, we can.
Oh shit. We can adjust.
We'll have to lower the chair. He's gonna make him look like
we'll have to adjust. Cowboy Brian coming back into town.
He's gonna look like Yosemite Sam because he's gonna be like sitting really low.
So yeah, download Betstamp. Head to the link in our description if you're watching on YouTube here. It's got a list, okay, of our favorite sports books in order. So you go over there, click the link to download Betstamp, punch in your code TANK, and link all of those sports books to your Betstamp account so you can track and find the best odds in the market. So what else we got here? What else we got?
I don't know. Lots going on.
So I mentioned Rudy Gobert. The Minnesota Timberwolves love punching things.
Yeah, we had a fun part. We had a fun soccer.
Hold on. NBA. I still got one here.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Paul George. He's set to miss the start of the series against the Suns due to he's still recovering from his knee injury that he suffered March 21st in the loss against Oklahoma City Thunder. So that could be crucial to the Clippers as the Suns have been rolling with Kevin Durant. So we'll see how that plays out. But real quick, if you wanted to mention your little soccer story.
I got two kind of fun. There's a lot of fun soccer stuff going on. Liverpool was playing in an important game against Arsenal. And at the halftime, when they were heading off, one of the players for Liverpool went to complain to the AR, the assistant's ref, and the ref threw his right elbow back and clocked the guy, not super bad, it was kind of soft, but it doesn't matter how hard or soft it was. You're not allowed to do that, especially when you're the AR. So when the center, the main ref came over and they started arguing about it and everything, he gave a yellow card to the guy who was complaining. And then during halftime, during the break, there was video of it, and kind of far away because it wasn't like nobody was looking for that. And that ref, that AR now has been suspended pending the investigation. So it's kind of cool when something happens to a referee for him, he's got to control himself. Like he can't. Seriously. I mean, whether the guy should have gone up and yelled at him or whatever he did, don't throw the elbow. Be like that's a big thing. So.
What does Dylan always say, though? Sometimes you just got to drop your nuts on him, and that sounds like that's what he did there.
And another cool quick story is, Ryan Reynolds is, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So he bought a soccer team in England at the lowest level, Wrexham. Him and the guy from, what's his name? I can't think of the Rob Mahaney from Philadelphia TV show, the Stranger Thing. What's it called?
I can't tell you.
It's Always Sunny.
That's where you're losing me.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia. They own this team, Wrexham, and they have been trying to get this team out of the lower level, and the only way to get up to the next level is to win the division, and they had a big game. Their goalie got hurt, and so Ben Foster, who's a retired, really high-level goalie, came in, took over as the goalie, made a save, and so now they're ahead in the standings. So all they have to do is kind of win, I think, a couple more games, and they finally get moved up. So it's very exciting because it's literally kind of like a team from a city about the size of probably like Niagara Falls or something, very small, like 40,000, and they finally are getting up to that next level. And it's an exciting small story, and obviously because And the cool thing about it is the two owners, the movie star guys, they're really all in. They go to the games, and it is kind of a fun little, I think there was like a Netflix show. It's kind of a fun story for Premier League for soccer.
Head to Netflix and follow along.
Yeah, check it. I don't know if it's Netflix, but it's definitely a fun story. So there's my
hey, you did a whole episode on the wrestling, so I threw in a 4-minute tangent for you there on the world of soccer.
Glad you got it off your chest.
No, it's exciting. You can see I hung my Manchester City scarf behind me.
Well, they can't see it. Put it back.
Oh, sorry. It's
Boom.
behind there. Hung that my Manchester City scarf. The real football, as we like to say.
Not on this program. I forgot we had some fan questions
Oh, cool.
today.
All right.
So the one that stuck. I mean, we kind of already touched on it, but I gotta acknowledge it.
Acknowledge your fans.
Because we're a show for the people.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So one of the questions that came in: why is the Ravens front office making some of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen? And you know what? This is the type of toxic shit we draw in from our crowd. We kind of touched on it earlier. We'll see how this thing plays out, but it's all confusing as hell. It really is.
When you have, I get that, it's all about money and everything, but I agree with it. Like, how can you not find a way to make it work when you have a quarterback of his caliber? What do you think's out there? What are you getting?
It's nothing much else,
right? Like
if you want to, you already got the guy in your building.
Yeah, who are you gonna? Isn't this the guy you've been hoping to get?
Put guys around him.
Yeah, like and if you're cheap about it, well then just say we're not really interested in winning anything.
So beating around the bush.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then and they're never going to admit that, obviously. But I think that's what it is. They basically really aren't really truly. Everybody says they're committed to winning the Super Bowl every year. We're in this game, but sometimes you see teams that just definitely aren't. They're just not. And unless they show it, if I'm a Ravens fan, I got serious questions whether I'm buying those tickets and stuff. Right?
That's right. And some of you might have serious questions on where you're going to buy your sports gear for this upcoming spring and summer. Well, the only right answer for that is T-Shirt University over at the Wallen Galleria Mall. Whether you want to gear up for your NCAA, NFL, MLB, NBA, NHL, you name it, T-Shirt University's got your back. Head over to T-Shirt University at the Wallen Galleria. Get 15% off your purchase.
I did.
He sure did. What'd you get?
I bought 2 T-shirts.
Okay.
I bought a.
Well, what'd you get?
I bought one T-shirt. I didn't buy even a sports one. I bought a one that said.
One of the funny tees.
I bought a funny tee.
I bought
one. I bought one that says "I love coffee" and 3 other people.
Boom.
And then I bought a Buffalo Sabres kind of almost like it's supposed to look like a pixelated goalie from the old the old, really old NHL games that I played on my computer.
8-bit.
Like 4-bit, computer. Nice. Probably would have been Atari or something awful but it was the goalie and it was the blue and the gold. So I bought the 2 T-shirts.
Boom. So you could get yourself one of those as well at T-Shirt University.
A lot of cool stuff. A lot of different kinds of things that you don't. And obviously, if you're looking for, if you're looking for that Buff State jersey, I almost bought a Buff State jersey, just sweatshirt because I was there and I was because that's my alma mater, man.
Boom, you gotta represent.
Yeah.
So yeah, you name it, T-Shirt University's got it. They got your back. Go gear up for your favorite teams. Show them one of our posters. Take a screenshot. Hold on.
That's what I did.
Take a screenshot right now.
Me? Or just
anybody watching now?
Anybody watching. Okay.
Show them this post. Tell them Tank Talk sent you and get 15% off your purchase. So with that being said, they did sponsor our Bracket Challenge now that March Madness is over with. So we have a winner with that being said.
Cool.
So shout out Lucas out of Missouri. He picked UConn to win it all. Finished with the top points in our bracket, and he received himself a $50 T-Shirt University gift card. So shout out Lucas.
Good job, Lucas.
Winning the bracket, inaugural bracket challenge. Hopefully we'll come back around next year and keep growing the group. Just want to give a special thanks to everyone that's followed this far. Listening to my stupid-ass voice for how long has it been? Almost 2 hours now.
We are an hour and 33 minutes.
Okay, not
and
bad.
People out of here way too much of me tonight, so I think I apologize to everyone out there because that old fart doesn't know what the frick he's talking about. Why doesn't he just shut up with his fucking soccer, his fucking diving sport? All they do was dive in that game.
Flopping, that's where
Don't get me started.
Red card.
I'll start defending my own comments.
So yeah, I really appreciate everyone that's followed along this far.
Yeah.
I was going through a lot of old footage. It's amazing how far we've come. I mean, what? It'd be 1 year, June 6th, I believe.
Yep. I'm coming up. The Emerge anniversary is coming up May 1st. We're going to be open to ear, and you guys were. I tell people all the time, like I have such respect for and appreciation for you and some of the other guys that are giving me a chance to do this fun stuff, especially in the beginning when we were kind of making it up as we go and not everything was perfect and everybody's kind of been patient with all of us and we keep trying to find ways to make it better and more entertaining. So anybody who's been around, we certainly appreciate you supporting us. Even if you're just watching or listening to a podcast or following us on TikTok, we certainly appreciate it because we're trying to build I'm trying to build something for everybody. And it only works if we all kind of work together. So,
boom, exactly.
Kumbaya. Trust the process.
Kumbaya,
trust the process. I sound like Bean.
Kumbaya.
So, don't worry, guys. I got a plan.
We'll see if the plan keeps growing into fruition here. So it'll be nothing without you guys tuning in and showing the love and support. So keep spreading the good word of Tank Talk. And follow us on our socials at TankTalk_pod, whether it's Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. TikTok seems to be the platform for us.
It is.
Big clip show.
I love your TikToks. They're always fun, and I think you do
I love making them.
You do it. Well, they're fun, and I think you really capture the essence of the show in the TikToks. And I think they're great representation of
the big dumb doofuses.
Yeah, of what the show's about. Like, you're not going to be surprised. Like, that's, it's not like when you watch a movie trailer and then you're like, well, that didn't even happen in the movie. Now, you watch the TikToks.
You get the gist.
You get a gist of what you're going to see. Whether it's just a guy eating pancakes or my dumbass making a stupid comment or just, Brother Brennan.
What?
I can't wait to see. I just don't know which cowboy hat he's going to bring in. I want him all decked out when he comes
back. Now, my
back.
thing is, I don't know if he bought them.
Did he buy boots? Did he?
He's got the boots.
Oh, he's got the boots and the hats?
Oh, yeah. He went full, yeah.
He went the.
So I'm wondering if he's going to leave that in Tennessee or if we'll bring it back home to the show. So that's one thing.
He better bought one hat. If he just put them on and tried them on, he didn't buy one, then I'm a little disappointed in that.
Kicked off the program with all due respect. Yeah. So follow us on our shows at TankTalk_pod. We're still running our jersey giveaway. We're getting there, 125 subscribers. We're getting closer and closer as each week goes on. So what you got to do there, subscribe to us here on YouTube. And for those of you listening on Apple Pod and Spotify, head over to YouTube, give us a subscription. Or what do the YouTubers say? Give us a sub, dude. Like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and do that. Head to our socials like the jersey giveaway post, comment so we know who you are and whatnot and how we can find you if you do win a jersey. Shit, you might end up with just the Baltimore Ravens Lamar Jackson jersey after all this is said and done. We shall see. So with that being said, hopefully the guys shall return next week. We miss them here. I feel like we haven't had the full group here in a while.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we appreciate Troy stopping by last week. That was a hell of a wrestling conversation. Wrestling.
I learned a lot.
Did you?
I did. I didn't. I mean, a lot of the wrestlers I didn't know. I mean, I don't follow it as much as I used to. So it was an interesting conversation. I kind of Googled a bunch of guys later. I just kind of followed.
Shit might be hitting the fan, but that's a whole nother story. So with that being said, thanks for following along here, and we'll see you next week. How about that? How's that sound?
Nice.